अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Salutations to the Guru, who is showing me the principle that pervades the whole universe, that directing me to that and thus making my life blessed. I salute that Guru. So Swami Vivekananda is explaining the need of Guru, a very important topic, because unless we feel the need, we don't go for it. We say, no, it's okay. Yeah, do you need a car? No, I am okay without it. Why should I go and buy a car? So unless we feel need, we don't go for those things. So with Guru also similar thing. Unless we feel the need, we don't go for it. So it is certainly beneficial, but one must feel the need. It is somebody else feels the need, it won't happen. Like I won't go to eat unless I feel hungry. It is, if Teresa feels hungry doesn't mean I will go to eat. So it is so Guru, the need of the Guru needs to be felt. So how to feel the need, again that is a question. We should consider a few things so that we will feel the need. And this is what Swami Vivekananda, this small but very helpful book, Bhakti Yoga, brings. These important parts or important topics about Guru. First is this, the need of a Guru. And I am reading, every soul is destined to be perfect, and every being in the end will attain the state of perfection. This is how this chapter begins, that every being is destined to attain perfection, will manifest the perfection within. So sooner or later it has to happen. So because it is everybody's true nature, so it has to happen. Now why Guru is necessary? Whatever we are now is the result of our acts and thoughts in the past, and whatever we shall be in the future will be a result of what we think and do now. So our actions now will determine our future. But as we had seen earlier, the past, present, they only show the manifestation. The truth remains the same, it remains unchanged, but the manifestation differs. What it was, depending on the actions, that it was like that. What will it be depends on the actions that now we perform. So the action either makes the thing clumsy and dirty, or makes it clean and vibrant. So that is what one can do. That ultimately everything is going to become perfect, no doubt. But that is in a way what is called in maths or logic, tautology. Means you have not added anything new. Like our Lakshmanji was telling, where is this Swami? We asked, he's somewhere. So that doesn't add any information. It only is another way of saying I don't know. So it is. So in the end everything will be perfect. But that is the definition of the end actually. That it is in the end everything will be alright, and if it is not alright, it is not the end. So therefore, every alright at the end. But the shaping of our own destinies does not preclude our receiving help from outside. Nay, in the vast majority of cases, such help is absolutely necessary. Mind, these are words of Vivekananda, given with a tremendous emphasis and full of transcendental wisdom. He is telling these things and not by just ordinary logic, but he is seeing these things like say a prophet, that yes, all these things they will happen, but for that to happen, our actions to be directed in a proper way, we need an external help. In most cases, that it is. First he says, there is no such thing that because it is going to happen ultimately, so I should not take any help. No, it doesn't preclude that. You can still take external help. So it is like somebody is going to get cured automatically. But to hasten the process, you can still go to the doctor and get some medication. It is like one doctor, actually I knew him from childhood, so he was felicitated for 50 years of service to society, successful doctor for 50 years. So at the end, for the end of the function, he started telling, firstly, we doctors, we really have very little to do, because 90% of the cases that come to us, they are going to get all right anyway, whether they take medication or don't take medication. I'm not talking about your cases. It is, that they, out of the remaining 10 cases, 10% cases, 5% are such who are not going to be cured whatever you do. 90% are going to be cured whatever we do, or whether they come to the doctor or they don't come to the doctor, the nature will cure them. And 5% cases are such, whatever you do, they are all incurable diseases. They are chronically there, like some people have that chronic asthma. Now you take medication, it gets subsided for a day or so at most, again it comes back. So whatever you do, it doesn't get cured. As the age advances, things like say arthritic pains, joint pain, and they are always going to be there. So there is no cure. So he says 5% cases are of that type. They never would get cured, whatever you do. Remaining 5% we use some skills and see just for that how much honor has been heaped on us. So even though this is the case, 90% are going to become alright, whether you go to doctor or whether you don't go to the doctor. I had told you that nice incident, that it is a doctor in Welland in Canada. So just by the side of the Niagara Falls, there is one devotee doctor. So he always tells me, whenever if you are coming on this side, please come to my home. We will be so happy. But then he is a busy doctor, so I avoided. One time I was kind of forced to go because Kripa Mayananji was going there and I met him on the way. Our trustee Swami Prabhanandaji, who passed away recently, he was also going, so I also went and I told him, that I don't want to take your patient's time from you. You are a very busy doctor. And then he said, well, patience, it is whether they come to me or they don't come to me, the outcome remains the same. Only the income becomes different. So, outcome remains the same. So it is. And yet we go to take help. So similarly, ultimately, that perfection is going to manifest. That does not preclude our seeking the help of somebody else. And then he makes the statement, but for almost all, it is nay, in the vast majority of cases, such help is absolutely necessary. Vast majority. There could be some honorable exceptions who just get the things right, like you can take the example of Buddha, for example, and didn't go for a particular guru. So, but they are not to be counted among the general cases. For almost all of us, vast majority, it is absolutely necessary. There is no doubt. Without that, that person will not progress at all. Absolutely necessary. This quickening impulse that it is. So what happens, this external, that when it comes, the higher powers and possibilities of the soul are quickened. Spiritual life is awakened. The growth is animated, and man becomes holy and perfect in the end. All this process starts. That very beautiful words, that the higher powers and possibilities which are hidden in us. But like they give the example that the fire is hidden in that matchstick, but it has to be struck. When you strike it, then it comes up. So that is the contact with Guru. So that makes the inner powers come up. The possibilities, they are animated, and growth is animated, and a man becomes holy and perfect in the end. So this process becomes actually very fast activated. Otherwise it is, it may take whatever time. This quickening impulse cannot be derived from books. One has to remember this. Of course, there are again a few cases where a particular book has become the guru. In the Sikhs sect, they consider the holy book as Guru Granth Sahib. But they used to have, before Govind Singh, a person as the Guru. Then Guru Govind Singh saw that again it is building some cult. So he's to remind that it is the teachings which are important. He said that Guru Granth Sahib is the Guru. That book is Guru. So the book is worshipped. It became another actually an idol, instead of like with the Jewish this thing, the Torah becomes like an idol, No idol worship, okay, but then that is human nature to have some symbol, some image. So the image can be the image of a book. So therefore you have the one in one of the very big Jewish center in Providence. So the rabbi there, a very nice man, he was telling, this be God specially done in Hebrew from a calligraphy, special calligraphist for about $26,000 and then gilded it. So it is like making that a gold idol, gold image. So that is done, but book as such for majority of people cannot provide the quickening impulse. The reason is that we human beings learn from other human beings. It is therefore in the schools only human beings apply for teaching job. What, Lakshmanji? Yeah, this Yukon, does it say that okay, some donkey can apply? No, it is the teacher's job for human beings. Only human beings can apply. Why? Because it is our constitutional need that we have to have human teacher. Books are okay, they are useful, but taught by some human being. So therefore Swamiji makes this clear here, that this quickening impulse cannot be derived from books. This soul can only receive impulses from another soul and from nothing else. We may study books all our lives. We may become very intellectual. That is what happens. A person by studying like that becomes a university intellectual. It is nothing wrong in that. It is, but that doesn't become the spiritual impulse. It is, one can be intellectual better than being a fool. So it is, but it has its limitations. I mean, that it doesn't prompt or propel the spiritual unfolding. It is, in fact, it is detrimental in a way that such individuals, again, majority of them start thinking that because they have studied these books, they know all about Upanishads, they know all about the yoga, Bhagavad Gita, but because they are not having this guru behind them, that how to use these scriptures to enlighten their own life, and they keep on only repeating what is read in the book. That is not what is the spiritual growth. You become like Vivekananda himself says about himself, before that, why? Now I feel, and how much learning Vivekananda had, imagine. It will be, one has to write another book to mention all the subjects that Vivekananda studied. I am talking about what gets called as secular knowledge. All that Vivekananda had studied as a college student, Narendranath Datta. So, every branch, and then he says, oh, it would be so good if I forget all this that I learned. Because it becomes just a burden. That story of Narada is there. Narada goes to Sanat Kumar, request him, teach me. And Sanat Kumar says, what have you learned before? And he gives a big list of all subjects that you can think of, any subject, and he has studied it. All Vedas and Puranas, and they all economics, accounting, business, speak of it. He has studied it. So everything has been studied, including theatre, music, circus also. There's Garud Vidya. That is the magic. He has studied that also. Nothing is left non-studied. Then what do you want to learn from me? Oh, I do not have this self-knowledge, and therefore I am suffering. So, this book learning can never give us this self-knowledge. So that is what is meant. In the end, we find that we have not developed at all spiritually. It is not true that a high order of intellectual development always goes hand in hand with a proportionate development of the spiritual side in man. In fact, Ranganathan quotes from Bertrand Russell that the growth of knowledge and growth of wisdom. He says that growth of knowledge, he gave such a beautiful comment there that our story of modern civilization is the story of immense growth of knowledge and immense this downgrading of wisdom. Means how to use the knowledge for our benefit. So therefore, the growth of knowledge without commensurate growth of wisdom only means the growth of suffering. So therefore, and this is so true, it is important therefore, in studying books, we are sometimes deluded into thinking that thereby we are being spiritually helped. But if we analyze the effect of the study of books on ourselves, we shall find that at the utmost it is only our intellect that has derived profit from such studies and not our inner spirit. This is, it is so true. One has to just introspect and can easily find. This inadequacy of books to quicken spiritual growth is the reason why, although almost every one of us can speak most wonderfully on spiritual matters, when it comes to action and the living of a truly spiritual life, we find ourselves so awfully deficient. To quicken the spirit, the impulse must come from another soul. Yes, Deepak?
No, as you said in the morning, Tattva Matam.
Yeah.
Interpretation, right?
Yeah.
The fact is, knowledge is something that's fine, but to internalize it, actually, you have to understand not only the what, but also the whys.
Yeah.
And that's where the Guru comes in, giving the underlying reasoning behind it. So you got able to improvise and apply in your life.
Yes, and that requires a teacher.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Without that, it doesn't happen. The person from whose soul such impulse comes is called Guru. That is the definition of Guru. That the impulse comes from that. That person becomes a medium in a way, and through which it comes to you. It is not that that person's manufacturing or that person's any speciality, except that that person is able to give it to you, pass on to you. Like a mailman can deliver, the mail. So somebody has sent you a check, the mailman has delivered it, but mailman is necessary for that purpose, to deliver, to bring it to your home. So it is the God's wisdom that Almighty is sending the impulse, but we are getting it from a person. So both should receive or should be given due respect, that it is coming to our hands from that mailman, but is sent by somebody. So when you get a donation, where do you send a thank you note? Mr. Mailman. No, it is. So it is like that. The person, the teacher and the person to whose soul the impulse is conveyed is called the Shishya, the student. Shishya means the one who is desirous of it. Otherwise, it won't get there. You have to be desirous for that. And then he will give the qualifications of that. The field must be ready and plowed, and when both these conditions are fulfilled, that is, the seed must be living seed and the field must be ready, plowed, and when both these conditions are fulfilled, a wonderful growth of genuine religion takes place. That is why Jesus says, don't throw pearls before swine, that it will be of no use for the swine. So, it is thus that person should be worthy, then only that person will receive it. So, it is then will a splendid spiritual awakening results, and not otherwise. Such alone are the real teachers, and such alone are also the real students, the real aspirants. All others are only playing with spirituality. They have just a little curiosity. It is curiosity is a human trait, probably has come to us from our forefathers, monkeys, that monkeys, you have seen this TV serial, what Curious George, Curious George. So the fellow is curious always, do this, pull here, pull there, yeah. So it is, so human beings, they are curious. So curious about religion, that one gentleman, we had a concert of that very big name, that Rajan and Sajan Mishra some years ago. So one gentleman told me, I am going to buy a ticket, that the topmost, $100. That will help also, because we were, they needed to be paid a big amount. So we were collecting some money. So I am going to buy, but I don't like that music. So Said, okay, you don't need to come. We will sell your seat twice. It is, no, I am going to come, he said. Why? Because I want to see what people intently hear. I am curious, what do they like about that kind of music? It is also, I want to come forward to see, I am curious, what is there to listen about that kind of music? So, I think he ultimately came, yeah. So we human beings are curious about, so religion also. Let me see what is religion. So many people talk about it. So they are called in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita Jigyasu. That Jigyasu here means those who are just curious about it. What's this religion stuff? Let me have some information about it. And like the reporters are curious, because they have to do the reporting. The news must be an exciting news. So there are the real spiritual seekers are different. They are not just curious, but they want to seek the ultimate truth for implementing or practically using it in their lives. So there are certain dangers though. It is that there is, for instance, danger to the receiving soul of its mistaking momentary emotions for genuine religious yearning. Momentarily something comes, that somebody near and dear passed away, or something, some heart-breaking incident happened. So for a few minutes, that person gets shaken and wants to, go for some spiritual this thing. Feels at that time, all I need is this spiritual awakening. But then afterwards that goes away, again the same worldly life and starts. So that is not a genuine spiritual urge. It is prompted by some particular incidents like certain physical conditions. It induces diabetes. That person is normally not a diabetic person, but then because of certain situation, the diabetes gets induced there. So it is phenomena of induction in electricity. So that is how induced, that it is by the side of something and then that electricity gets induced. These days there are many charging stations, they work on the principle of induction. So you don't have to touch anything. So that is, but then when you are away from it, that's it, it's gone. So it is, that is not the genuine urge for spiritual growth. So whenever we are tempted to complain of our search after the truth that we desire so much, proving vain, instead of complaining, our first duty ought to be to look into our own souls and find whether the craving in the heart is real or not. Then in the vast majority of cases it would be discovered that we were not fit for receiving the truth, that there was no real thirst for spirituality. Because when certain problems come, I have seen, that some people come that feeling, that urge, that yes, I want God realization. they show a lot of devotion. It appears to be very genuine. But suddenly, oh, a big jolt comes in their life. Oh, my daughter passed away. Now, suddenly all devotion is gone. Because why God took away my daughter from me? I don't want such a God. So the thirst was not really for God then, it was for something else. So we want a God that will never take away my near and dear. So there we are not giving Godhood to God, we are retaining with ourselves. What God should do, I will tell God. Imagine, what kind of God is that? God should govern me. That is the meaning of the word God. But then I think, isn't it? God should do what I tell God. Means it is not God at all. But we feel so let down by God. I kept faith in God and see God did what God did to me. It is one family had come, stayed here at you know that, many of you know them. So that their son became a monk and the mother became so depressed, so angry. Now why ever shall I pray to God who took away my son from me? I will never pray to that kind of a God. Of course, he is a good devotee, but this thing comes that God should do according to what I wish the God to do. So, this is not how a spiritual aspirant, so it is like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's great teachings, that howsoever God may treat me, you are my God. The God may put me in whatever circumstances, still you are my God. Even that God puts me into hell doesn't matter. You still are my God. So, it is. So he gives the qualifications. How are we to know a teacher then? How are we to know who is qualified to be a teacher? Because there are lot of cheats and charlatans. They are going to be there. In every business they are there. Why? Because we want things cheap. And so the fault is with us, that why I am not supporting the cheats, but are we genuine in our searching? It is if we want something at below price, then naturally there will be cheats. It is one of our devotees, wonderful, nice people. So they wanted to buy a new car, new for them, used car. But now the car that they wanted naturally would be at the proper price would be something around $20,000. So they saw one car advertised for $10,000, Toyota, very low miles run, compared to just 2 years old, and very low mileage on it, and $10,000. So, and they said, oh, that must be a great, wow, God helped us to get a nice car at such a low price. And it looked nice, they got it. From day 2 the problems began, and it became a $10,000 worth headache. So it is now that they naturally they will be blaming that person, and that person certainly cheated, no doubt. But then what really cheated us was our own desire to have a good thing at a low price. In Hindi there is a saying, महंगा रोए एक बार, सस्ता रोए बार बार. So those who buy at low cost, they will keep on weeping all the time. Those who are buying something costly, expensive, they will weep only once. So it is of that type. So it is when the sun rises, we instinctively become aware of the fact, and when a teacher of men comes to help us, the soul will instinctively know that the truth has already begun to shine upon it. Yeah, you know these things, that you don't, a sun doesn't need another lamp to light. A little child was told by mom, they just go out and see if the sun has risen or not. And then the sun said, oh, where is the flashlight so that I will be able to see the sun rising? Let me take the flashlight. You don't need to take a flashlight. Sun is a big flashlight that will automatically flash everything. So it is. So teachers whose wisdom and truth shine like the light of the sun are the very greatest the world has known, and they are worshipped as God by the major portion of mankind. And that is what it is, the incarnation of God. So when such a being rises, that is, in this there is a chapter on that also, that Guru, the incarnation of God as Guru. So there that it is so obvious their power of being Guru is so powerful, so strong, that instantaneously people recognize it. Yeah, it is that Jesus told those fishermen, hey, drop those fish nets, come with me, I will make you the fishermen of men. And they did not ask a single question, because it was, Jesus' power was so great. So it immediately they followed without asking question. So it is like that the sun shines and you immediately know that. But we can do with lesser manifestations also. The conditions necessary for the taught. Now this is what I told you before, that he starts telling the conditions of the teacher, but he first tells the conditions of the taught. The disciple should have the conditions. It is because the disciple will get the teacher. So the disciple's conditions, because the book is primarily meant for those who want to be seekers, So you want to become a seeker first. It is when you are seeking admission in a university, they ask you what qualifications you have. It is they don't go on telling the qualifications of the teachers. It is what is your qualification? Oh, I failed 3 times in 10th grade. So no, you are yet need to, before coming to university, there is some more time for you. So it is like that. There should be purity, a real thirst after knowledge and perseverance. No impure soul can be really religious. Impure means impure in intentions, that I want to realize this self. That should be clear. You may not have the correct idea of what that my true self is, because you are just an aspirant right now. But there should not be an ulterior motive behind this, that in the name of trying to realize this self, I want to have other things, other worldly desires lurking behind those. So it is very funny, It is when I was in Shillong, the funny incident happened. That one family there, I didn't see them much, but they said they are devotees, but they were seldom seen at the ashrama. So they came and then said that please write a recommendation letter that we want to stay at the guest house in that Jagannath Puri. And difficult to get guest house, so they wanted to go, and so we want to stay in the guest house there. I said that, well, it is for those who are initiated devotees, and they normally get it. Okay, then we will take initiation. The idea is not to become, devotee, but that convenience, so that, okay, what does it take? Okay, we'll take initiation. It is real, this is what happened. And they are not exceptions. Many do like that. It is common, that in Shillong, another incident, similar incident, that there is a big hospital run by a Catholic mission there. A nice hospital. So, and they wanted to get some people wanted, somebody was sick and wanted treatment. I don't remember the details. Wanted that hospitalization, surgery there. And there were some charges. But if you are a Christian, then that price is a lot of concession, cut down to half. Oh, is it so? Okay, then we'll become Christians, simple. It is like that. So there is the intentions itself, the intentions are impure intentions. There is no real thirst after God realization. So it is in that sense that word purity is to be understood. Because if it means perfect purity, then it is, you are already there. So purity in thought, speech and act is absolutely necessary for anyone to be religious. As to the thirst after knowledge, it is an old law that we all get whatever we want. None of us can get anything other than what we fix our hearts upon. To pant for religion truly is a very difficult thing, not at all so easy as we generally imagine. Hearing religious talks or reading religious books is no proof yet of a real want felt in the heart. So this is a condition that there should be a real desire after the truth. If that is there, then we fulfill that second condition, that we want this spiritual illumination. There is a very beautiful aphorism in Brahma Sutra the first aphorism, Athato Brahma Jignasa. So, there is a big commentary because it is a very pithy statement, a very cryptic statement. That Atha means the literal translation will be now, therefore, there is the inquiry into the nature of Brahman. Brahma Jignasa, inquiry into the nature of Brahman, and now, therefore. So, why now? The word now means that something has happened before, and therefore now you want. Now I want to eat. It means previously you didn't want to eat. Maybe two reasons. You were not hungry, one reason. Secondly, the food was not available even though you were hungry, so you could not eat. So this now the hunger is there, food is also there, so I want to eat now. So atha and ataha means now, therefore. That now there is the desire for God realization. All other things are gone from life. All other avenues have been looked into. You cannot get the complete total fulfillment from any of those. Your hunger cannot be satiated by that getting whatever. As Arjuna, while surrendering to Krishna, says that, well, please take me out of this mire of suffering. Says that even if you give me, even if I get the kingdom of all the three worlds, I will not, this suffering will not cease. Means all other avenues have been discarded. They are not going to be enough to remove this suffering. So, therefore, Brahma Jignasa, now I am hungry, and only Brahma Jignasa, only that can fulfill my hunger. That is why this becomes the first condition, that you want it for this, you want that fulfillment, and this alone can bring the fulfillment. So, thus one genuinely looks for the spiritual enlightenment, and thus now wants a guide. And then the third condition, perseverance. Perseverance is because it takes time. We become very impatient. The next day, the person is initiated, and the next day starts, oh, nothing is happening. Wait, it is. Even Brahmananji, such a great teacher, the people eat my brains. They take initiation every now and then, come and say, nothing is happening. I tell them, be at it at least for 2 years, do exactly what I have told to do. And then if nothing happens, come and give me 2 slaps. He was sure that he will not get 2 slaps because it is surely going to happen. There was no doubt about it. So, suppose, for example, if from Providence, if you start to come here, the time is about an hour and 10 minutes it requires, if traffic and all, or some, say 1.5 hour max. So drive 1.5 hour in this proper direction, and then you will reach This Yukon stores Hillel house. Sure, if you don't reach, okay, give me 2 slabs. What the it is, you are going to surely reach. There is no possibility that I will get slabs. So it is so true that this is the chartered path. So go and you will get it. Simple. What Teresa?
Yes.
Yeah, it is so sure, more sure than, okay, that it is. Yeah, it is certain that if you persevere, you are sure to get it. That other treatment is, oh, I am feeling so much pain and no, the doctor told, okay, take this medicine for 6 months, take this. And then will it go? No, you will get used to it. So it is. You will get used to it. This is not advice like that. You will surely get it. This is a perfect science that if you follow, you get it. So, but the disciple should be ready to follow. The problem is there, we lack perseverance. That okay, for one day you do it, and second day, oh, I was feeling tired. And so you don't do. After there were guests at home. So this is a very common this excuse that gets, that why did you not do your stipulated spiritual practice? Oh, the guest came at home. As if because the guest came at home, you didn't eat anything, or didn't sleep, you did everything. Except this, you did everything. So why? It is, suddenly I had to, yes, Vinay?
So how do you work your way to trying to get to the perseverance you might need in order to take that step?
That is, you have to be determined about it. I have to do it.
So should I just practice you try to walk every day or something?
It is, you have to, then the practice will be prescribed by the Guru.
Yeah,
So,
I just don't want to waste a guru's time. To get to a point where
well, that is what you don't waste the time of Guru. It is, the Guru is for that. You don't go to the school because you don't want to waste the time of the teacher.
I was made to go to school.
Yeah. So that is how this is a different school,
Yeah.
So you have to get it through the teacher, and then teacher's job is done. Then you have to keep on acting, working on it for a long time. Like the teacher, he gives the lessons that we had that violin concert yesterday. So the concert, that student gets a lesson, 1 lesson per week from the teacher. And then he has to practice that. So the teacher gives 1 lesson for life. For life. Now you have to practice it till it bears the result. It is, and it will bear the result, because it has been tried and trusted thing.
Does it get easier over time? Does it get easier?
It is always easy. It is difficulty is only because of the resistance. That, what is the point in it? Oh, I don't find it. It is, one has to break through that. That determination is necessary. We have it when, in our profession, if something is to be done, that if you don't do it, and you will lose $20,000. So what? You do it, even if you are feeling bored doing it, you still do it. So here also one has to apply that perseverance.
But doesn't it become like enjoyable at some point?
It takes you towards joy, and so in that sense it becomes enjoyable because you are proceeding towards the source of bliss, source of joy. Like if you are going towards a fragrant incense stick burning, suppose it is burning here and you get the fragrance there.
Yeah.
Now you are getting the fragrance. As you come closer, what happens?
Get more.
The fragrance, increases. If you walk farther, the fragrance decreases. So, in that sense, it becomes joyous. But it is never as such very difficult. It is in a way very simple. But the problem is we are so used to do difficult things that this happens to be so simple, we find that that is difficult. It is a very simple thing. In fact, it is the easiest thing in life. To realize God is the easiest thing in life. Kituli. Yeah. It is.
We slack very easily.
It is not very easy.
We slack very easily.
We slack very easily.
We slack.
We
very
slack,
easily.
yeah.
Very easily.
We slack very easy. So you know what should be done. Don't slack. Simple, isn't it? Yeah. It is, you know the cause. We're intelligent, that we know that if we don't slack, then we will progress. If we slack, we will not.
Right. Still, even knowingly, we cannot do it regularly. At least I cannot.
No,
The
you will
things-
have to.
The things that attract me, and then in the end of the day, I feel bad because I did it for nothing, and the wastage of day. Total wastage of day. I feel like every single day the death is coming and I'm not doing anything actually.
Yeah, but one has to do it.
Yeah.
It is if you don't do that, it is a training that needs to be given to the mind, that train yourself to that perseverance is the necessary condition. That without perseverance you will not be able to do. That is the matter of habit. We are habituated to find excuses, So we have to change it. That instead of that, put all energy, all available energy into that. It is all, who is the loser then? God is the loser? No. One man said that I cheated the airliner. I bought the ticket and never boarded the flight. No. So it will be like that, So that is got it, Vinay? Yeah. It is very simple, the simplest thing. To realize God, there is nothing simpler than that. Yes, I can tell it very, very confidently that there is nothing easier than that. Because all other things are so difficult. It is to get happiness otherwise in this world is very difficult, impossible, It is impossible. So this is very easy because God is actually within us. So it is very easy. We have to do a few simple things, and yeah, right there. What?
Maharaj, what was asked actually about this was aspect of slacking off.
Yeah.
The fact is that we are used to certain things, inertia, whatever you are doing with victim of the past.
Yeah.
The question is, everything should start with the desire. The desire over it's in of itself will basically take you out of that zone actually into a different kind of paradigm.
That is
That's
what
the
it
intent.
is. Yeah. There should be the genuine urge for it. I want it. Then the slackness will not be there. It is if there is the genuine desire, that Thakur's story is there, very beautiful story, that that son was so sick, and somebody came and told the medication. Sounded as if that is an impossible medication, but he wanted that man wanted the child to be cured, and he did not want to leave any stone unturned. So the medicine was under a particular star, Swati star. The raindrops must fall, and they should fall. This man should find first that human skull, go to a graveyard, find the human skull there. Then in that skull, there should be the Swati, raindrops must fall. Then, and there should be a snake chasing a frog. As it pounces on the frog escapes, but the poison of that snake gets dropped, and that should also get collected in that human skull. How difficult. And then the light of the moon should get reflected in that mixture, then it becomes a potent medication. Now, because there was that tremendous urge that my son should get cured, this man set out for that, and gradually, because of that earnestness and perseverance, if there is that inertia, pagal nahi, it is right there, am I a fool to seek all these things? It is never going to happen, then it won't happen. But it is true that if we really have that urge, it will happen. Have that faith. That is why Jesus says that if you have a faith worth a mustard seed, and if you say a mountain, hey, get away, the mountain will go away. It is true, not at all any exaggeration. So remember, this will happen. If you do not remove this habit of bringing out the excuses or procrastinating. Another very terrible habit that we have is, okay, next time. Means never, practically it means never. It should be now, then something will happen. So perseverance is a very important qualification of the student. Then you can get the Guru. Otherwise, even though the Guru gives initiation, it will just remain there dormant. It will not become useful. That is what happens in many cases, that they get mantra from the Guru, but just sleep over it, do not do anything, and so nothing happens. Oh, when will the Guru's grace come? That if you work, that's it, one should really want that grace, then you will see the results of it. otherwise not. So anyway, I think it is a lot of time. I will just quickly summarize the other things there. As in regard to the teacher, we must see that the teacher knows the spirit of the scriptures. It is important that the teacher, not that the teacher has to be one who has studied thousands of books. That is not what is meant. The whole world reads Bibles, Vedas and Qurans, but they are still only words, syntax, etymology, philology and dry bones of religion. The teacher who deals too much in words and allows the mind to be carried away by the force of words loses the spirit of it. It is the knowledge of the spirit of the scriptures alone that constitutes the true religious teachers. So that is one, that the teacher should be like that. Look at Sri Ramakrishna, practically illiterate, but knows the spirit of the scriptures. So that makes the qualification for the teacher. Teacher should know the spirit of the scriptures. Secondly, it is told that I am skipping a lot of portion. The second condition necessary in teacher is sinlessness. Shrotriyaha akamahata avrajinaha akamahata. Avrajinaha means must be straightforward. No cheating should be there. Means the teacher should not be giving this knowledge to cheat, it should be teacher, not a cheater. So it is, there should be no ulterior motive. The question is often asked, why should we look into the character and personality of a teacher? Many say, well, we want just the knowledge. What the teacher does, who cares, The teacher may be a very person of very bad character. It may be true with the secular subjects, that it is. I believe it is not true in that case also. But even if you see that it is true, if somebody wants to learn maths, for example, the character of the teacher may not be important. But when it comes to the spiritual life, it is the character that gets transmitted. It is very important, therefore, that the teacher lives what he or she teaches. So the life must be the teacher, like that Saint Francis words, good to give a sermon, good to walk to give a sermon. If your walking itself is a sermon, it is, then the sermon makes sense, So it is, one should not smoke, then that teaching will not be effective, you see. So, what lesson can an impure man teach? The sine qua non of acquiring spiritual drift for oneself or for imparting it to others is the purity of heart and soul. A vision of God or a glimpse of the beyond never comes until the soul is pure. Hence, with the teacher of religion, we must see first that he is what he is, and then what he says. What he says comes next. What he is comes first. So, the third condition in this regard is to the motive. The teacher must not teach with any ulterior or selfish motive. That okay, I need to earn some money, so what can I do? So like some other vocation, I will take the vocation of giving spiritual lessons. Now that should not be the intention behind it. So these three are the important conditions that one should have that to be a teacher. And then there is in this book, although we will not be able to even touch on these points today, because already it is about how much, 4:30 or so?
15 maybe.
No,
418.
4:18, yeah. So we shall conclude here. There are these points that how the teacher transmits the teachings. It is with a cryptic formula that is called mantra. Mantra. It is not a big lecture. It is a short formula, but it is a power pack formula. It is, you repeat it, cultivate it like a seed of a huge banyan-like tree. Now the seed is tiny, but if you cultivate, Kituli, it is, you have to cultivate, then it will grow into a huge tree, not otherwise. So that is the mantra, power of mantra. It unfolds in you when you nurture it properly, protect it, nurture it. So this is how the transmission of the power of Guru comes. So let us conclude here. You can read these few pages. It is just a few pages that what Vinay from Bhakti Yoga book. It is available on on internet. So Bhakti Yoga by Vivekananda. These 3-4 chapters about Guru. So it gives in details, but in very brief, these principles of how the Guru transmits this wisdom, how it is poured from one heart to another heart. That is how Saint Jnaneshwar describes it. Ye hridayi se te hridayi ghatile. From this heart poured to another heart. It is like that. So it is. There is the chapter on the God incarnation as teacher. So the Guru has all these different aspects to be considered. So thank you very much for coming for this wonderful retreat, and special thanks are due to Lakshmanji for giving this wonderful presentation. But one should thank Derek as well as Vinay for making it possible. Yeah, so thank you very much. Next meeting, Lakshmanji was asking me, Sandhya, note down. Next meeting will be on September 17 for now. I will let the topic, I will tell a little later. 17th of September. There may be, no, it will not be a guest speaker, no, not on that day. So, but our regular
10:30 to 12.
10 to 12, right.
And I think they should take some tea or something right now.
Yeah, they can take tea, snacks, and there is lot of food,
Yeah,
so
please.
please feel free to
Yeah.
take home.
Yeah, please take all of that.
Please take food to home, and yeah, so that it will not get wasted. So now we shall chant the mantra for Guru's Dhyanam. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gaganasadisyam Tattvamasyadilakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami.
So please don't go till you take some tea and coffee and some other goodies there.